Hi, good evening. Welcome to DNA After Hours. I'm Jan, I'm MD here, and this is Kesh, our CEO. Very nice of you to join us. We are talking about gender equality in the workplace today. And we both have fairly strong opinions, but it's nice that we're quite on the same page though, so that's a good thing.
So Jen, where do we start though, Jen?
It's a global thing, isn't it? Like
pretty much,
it's the movement, it's a push pretty much internationally to get more equality in the workplace, and I think this has come from the suffragette movement, you know, and this is like long term. When was the suffragettes? Like the 50s? 50s, yeah. So what is it? It's been this 2020.
61 years.
60 years?
I think, yeah, 70 years.
70 years. Yeah. It's taken us 70 years.
To get to where we are today.
to try to get to, I think.
But also just to clarify, I hire more women in my office than I do men. So that's a true story, I do.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
A bit of self-validation first in case. Yeah?
Right. What were we?
I don't know, suffragists.
Yes, so 70 years, right? So
Yeah.
70 years, and we're still at, on an average internationally, I think it was like 25% under when it comes to pay.
Yeah, I think it's $1 to 75 cents if I'm not wrong.
$1 to 75 cents, yeah. And
Gman, what's the actual numbers? Is it $1 to 75?
But that's global though. In Singapore, it's smaller.
Singapore's a 6%.
Yep, and then now it's it's gone up from 2002 was 8.8, and then in 2018, 16 years later, it's dropped by 2.8% to 6, which, you know, we had a little bit of a conversation about this, and we do agree that women tend to step away when we have babies. It's just
No, I disagree. I think women are afraid to have babies for that one particular reason, that their job might be in jeopardy.
Yes.
So I don't think I mean, it all fundamentally stems into the thing in Singapore, right? Like why we have these low birth rates and what have you not. I think it's because I think women okay, let's just start from the top again, yeah? Because I do believe that the doors are open a lot more now for women in leadership in Singapore, but I think that came through with a lot of resistance. But that patriarchal system, I think, is more or less getting diminished. But I think the other part of it is the fact that there's still a real fear with women that if they do get pregnant, that the risk of losing a job is really pretty high.
Correct.
Yeah.
And like we're more well off in places where you're more well off, like especially in Singapore, we can get helpers. Yeah. So there's a lot of women that continue their careers with helpers. I mean, it's only
not a newborn baby though.
Not with a newborn. Like you do take. We've got what 16 weeks for women.
Yeah, you gotta recuperate after a pregnancy. You gotta get better, man. You can't just plop one out and then go like, I'm back to the office tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. I don't know, but no. I think there is that getting back into being a mom for the first time for some.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of emotional things you go through, a lot of things you change physically as well.
Yeah.
You know, that's things that you go through, and then when that's you emotionally in yourself, and then there's that professional aspect that kicks in, I think, way after, because you're not ready to go back to work. Your mind is not primed.
You got baby brain as well, because there's the baby brain which makes you like all forgetful and blurry. I've heard. I don't know yet. But then what Singapore did recently was give men up to 4 weeks that they can share the 16 weeks with their wives. I think that's a great step.
Just a step forward, definitely.
Because, you know, according to the paper by the European Union, the studies are that having men at home actually helps the equality at home as well.
Correct.
And it in the long term, it's also good for the health of the child.
Yeah.
Which I found very interesting. You know, like that they've done studies like that. That's right. So all European countries provide parental leave. The average length is about 87 weeks.
Yeah.
But there's a wide variation between countries, from 18 weeks in Cyprus to 2 years per parent in Greece.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's huge. That's
massive.
like the most important part of raising a child, the first 2 years.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think it's great that Singapore is. We're kind of moving there. We're a bit slow, but we're getting there. Yeah,
we're always 2 steps back, and but we're comparing us to our Scandinavian counterparts, to be honest. But I think hopefully we get to that point, because we do have to address our birth rate issues here in Singapore as well. That's a true story.
I don't know much about that.
We are one of the most, we are declining birth rate, I think.
Yeah.
I think in Singapore we are. But the other part of it is also the fact that I still think that, going back to what we're talking about when it comes to women in the workplace, I think that primarily is a factor, I believe, but I'm sure there are others as well. When it comes to also in the industry unit as well. You know what I mean? Like I said, I'm very happy to see like a couple of more. Singapore's birth rate? Yeah, it's 1.1%, so it's absolutely rubbish. But that's also a societal thing, not just.
Well, it's really expensive to raise a child.
That's another thing as well.
It's really expensive to raise a child here.
But also personally, I think we are more vested into our own personal careers than we are, say,
We're having children later as well.
We are.
But that is also in conjunction with we're living longer too. Do you know what I mean? So that does, have something to do with it. But if we're talking like leaving the workplace to have babies and stuff like that, then, on a personal level, like I would take 6 months off, or
100%, yeah.
Or like, because
100%.
I'd want to, like, it's my baby,
Yeah, but like I said, what you say is true. It's financially a bit difficult to raise a kid. So you normally want to keep your job when you plot one out, yeah?
Well, it's on average, I think it's like $500,000 or something like that to raise a child till they're 18.
I think it's a lot more than that, to be honest.
Or like, is it $500,000 or $1 million?
Yeah, I think it's a lot more.
It's nearly like something mental.
Where's Gman? I need a fact check on that one. 100%, I think it's a lot more than that.
Is it like $500,000 or $1 million to raise a child to adulthood?
To the age of 18?
Yeah. So, because
I think it's a lot more than that.
I think I've heard like something, like I've heard $1 million, but I'm not sure if it's $500,000 or actually $1 million. So it's like,
or $1.5 million.
Yeah. Someone joked about it, and it's like, if it wasn't for you guys, I'd be a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, my friends do. Because my friends have kids, and they, I know the stresses they go through. They buy a new house because of their kids. Yeah, just to go to school.
Yeah.
I was telling you about it, didn't I?
Yeah.
G-Man's, yeah.
We've run out of bleeps. I think we've used up all our bleeps in the first couple.
There's no more. I can't. Apparently, I got told by G-Man that I can't name names, so I'm just going to use G-Man's advice. No, but going back to equality in the workspace, I think employers tend to hire very differently as well.
By industry?
Yeah, I think definitely by industry though.
By industry, by role as well.
Just the age of 10, about 170,000.
That's here in Singapore.
To 10. $170,000 to raise them to 10. Oh, crap.
That's quite a bit of change. Yeah.
There's like a deposit on a nice place.
No, mine was 195. It was a bit more than that. But anyways, no, it's going back to the workspace.
Well, I've been, okay, the most intense workplace I've ever been in was working in a band, like a working band. Singing in bars. I'm the only girl. We were playing, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and some days we did 2 gigs as well. So this was, proper full-time job.
Yeah.
And you're around these like very, very like boy.
Yeah.
Very men kind, they play heavy metal usually, and then there's this like, they don't really want to, but so I found there's a boys club kind of mentality, and I was always on the out, so I think personally, I feel like, you know, some women can like be part of the boys, or like one of the
They
boys.
have to assimilate to.
In a way.
I
And
get it,
I just really, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because like some of the stuff was a bit outrageous.
Yeah, 100%.
And of course, along with that, there was some, you know, you get hit on, you know, but then that happens with the audience as well, so it's fine.
I don't know if that's fine.
Oh, it's not fine, but I think as an artist, I think as an artist, there's a lot less. What's the word? There's a lot less like legislation or attention placed in that artistic environment. You know, whereas in a corporate environment, it's something else. In a corporate environment, we've got discrimination laws, we've got equality laws.
You're a human resource.
We've got HR people like looking after us and making sure that everybody's, you know.
But the HR laws kind of apply to two different kind of people anyway. I mean, it kind of this is something else. Jen, I think that it kind of differs, in my opinion, with who HR is dealing with. You know what I'm saying?
Like, but that's not equality, is it?
No, that's what the conversation is about.
Right?
That's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Absolutely no.
Even on from a corporate perspective.
I don't. From my experience, because I worked in corporates most of my life, I can 100% address both as an employee and as an employer, the wage difference, right? That I know for a fact exists. But when it comes down to, say, if you feel like you're being hit on going by what you're asking earlier, being hit on by your boss.
No, this is in a
corporate environment, yeah. If you feel that way, normally you refuse to report it to HR because they'll end up firing you. Mm-hmm. That's how it kind of works.
And it has happened a lot
That's
to a lot of women.
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's the men who know that old boys club or the patriarchal system what you mentioned, right? It's so true. It's so prevalent even till today. Yeah. I'm not even saying it's gone. It's still there, and it's not outright prevalent today. But I think you don't outright see.
They call it subtle racism, subtle sexism, like subtle, you know.
Exactly. But it still exists, though.
Yes.
It does exist, though.
Yes.
And that's the other part that we all have to look at, right? Gman, you off? Say bye, man, to everyone. Bye, Gman.
Bye.
There goes our fact-checking machine, guys. Gman's gone.
Now we
got
can
Devi.
make anything up. Now we can just make anything up.
Can you pan to Devi? That's Devi. Devi is our new...
Devi is our office.
She just joined us.
Baby.
She's our management coordinator and also, office baby as well. That's Devi. Devi, wave to the camera, Devi. Hey! All right. Yeah, G-Man's useless now. He's no good to us anymore, Jen. Let's fire him as a guy.
He's gone off to be a professional. Yeah. In a real workplace.
No, but but what I was saying is that, it does exist though.
It does. But, you know, I don't know if we'll ever completely eliminate, you know, things like, you know, this sort of stuff. But I think the important thing, which I've discussed with my friends, is about closing the gap as much as we can, as much as possible. It's the same with racism. It's the same with gender equality. It's the same with poverty. You know, so I think there's always going to be the extremes, right? And then if we can close the gap and build, and like in economics, it's like building the middle class. You know, so I do think we are moving in the right direction.
Yeah, but I think Jen, I think
not fast enough.
Yeah, in essence, yeah.
Well, thank you for being, you know, helping to drive that sort of change from the boys' club. Yeah, so thanks for helping drive that.
But that's one thing. But the other part is also I think this is me personally feeling, right? Like I feel women should also be able to, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's only so much that so many people that I think are doing today that they can do a bit more. You know, like we can do a lot more with where we are when it comes to this inequality thing.
Is it a confidence thing? Is it like a fundamental confidence thing? I can't speak for other women, yeah? For me, it is. Like,
Well, I don't see that, so.
oh.
So
Well, it's on the inside.
Inside.
I'm screaming on the inside. I'm so yeah. Out here it's like inside. I'm like so.
at times it could be, though. I think at times it could be, but that comes from the environment that you're in, right? That you're just afraid to speak out because your environment is not conducive for sharing or for being heard.
Yeah, and
That's what-
some environments
yeah.
can be like that. Some
Exactly.
environments can be very oppressive.
Yeah.
But it is a top-down culture thing, you know.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
So I have been in workplaces where it's like you're better to be seen and not heard. Yeah, and that's the top-down approach.
Correct.
All your managers are male, the boss is male, everybody. But I wonder if that's a gender thing or
It's a cultural thing.
or a cultural thing, you know.
When we were looking into this, though, Jen, we looked up countries where the biggest gaps are between.
Yes.
And I was quite surprised with some of those countries that are listed in there, man.
Where was that graphic? So what countries can you remember?
Remember that when he showed us, Korea was so high with the.
Korea was right at the end,
Yeah,
and it
the
was like
highest.
30%.
And Japan,
Which is
which is even higher than Saudi Arabia, I think.
yes. Now let's try and pull that
That's
graphic
insane.
up. That's pretty.
Well, Davey, can you pull out the graphic that Gman did for us?
Gender. What is it? It
Inequality,
was,
or
but it
gen-
was pay
gender-
rates,
Yeah, gender gap in
pay gap,
pay gap in
pay gap by countries.
yeah.
Yes, and Korea was.
the highest.
It was
And
pretty.
Japan was right after that.
That's pretty intense for me. Like you.
But then again, Korea and Japan hires more women than Saudi does. Saudi Arabia's got 34% of their workforce are women.
That's why.
Yeah, so I think that's
That's
basically
why.
why it is what
Yeah,
it is.
that's why.
And 34% are probably princesses who get paid $500,000 a month for the upkeep. Well, because in Saudi Arabia, you're just allowed to drive. I think a couple of 6 months ago, women are allowed to drive.
6 months ago they were allowed. Oh wow.
Women are allowed to drive in Saudi
So-
Arabia.
I was
Right?
gonna.
David, check for me Saudi Arabia women driving. When the driving laws for women actually opened up. It was really last year, I'm sure. It was a big thing. Women were celebrating now they can finally drive. Yeah. 2018, okay, so about 2 years too short. I get old fast though. I feel I've been sitting here for 2 years. That's how I feel right now.
I can't
Jen,
find.
what are you
I
looking
can't
at?
find that
David's
graphic.
right there.
I can't find that graphic. I've got one here for Europe, and for Europe, it's Estonia is at 29.9% pay gap difference for Europe, and I can't really find that one, but I do. I saw it. Korea
Yeah,
was
I was
30%.
asking,
Korea was
Gigi, I was
freaking.
like,
What was Saudi Arabia? Was it 2-point-something%? But like you said, there's like
No, it wasn't 2 point
there's
something
four
percent.
women who have jobs,
Yeah,
right?
4 women in the whole country with good jobs. But I think, it came down to the spectrum though. I can't remember. I think the US was pretty close up there as well. And but we still shit anyway. Let's put it this way.
Well, let's not
Yeah,
call
we-
out. Yeah,
No, but I'm not saying that we shouldn't,
I'm
but I'm
pretty
just saying that-
happy with the way we're progressing, and
Yeah, because now I think that we're giving more access. Like back then, but also I think women today, which again I feel like it's because I think that there were people that forged their way so they opened doors for others to come through.
yes,
And I think that is the other part of it. And they were very, very strong women, extremely.
at that time, yes,
Yeah.
at that time, your life was in danger.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
there was real violence.
Mm.
You know, like in another life, I've gotten threats before, not for work not for feminist work, but for conservation work.
Yeah.
You know, so but that's got nothing to do with gender, because the men would,
No, I know.
would receive the same threats.
Yeah,
So
but I think it's easier to bully a woman. Let's put it this way.
in a way, because you feel
More
there's
masculine.
less of a threat.
Exactly.
Less of a
Yeah.
threat. Easier to pick on someone smaller,
Exactly.
that kind of stuff. Yeah. So I'm pretty happy with how in
Progressing.
Singapore, and also because like I know that Asian culture is primarily it's quite patriarchal, yeah. But I find Singaporean girls
But you
are
were
more
telling me
strong.
that your family is more matriarchal than his.
My family, the
Yeah.
women in my family,
Yeah.
like, but that said, I really love the relationship that my grandfather and my grandmother had. Yeah, it was very, very traditional. Like grandma would stay home and work and like take care of the kids, cooked, work. Granddad would go, go out to work and come home, and he's the traditional male. And there is like, he is the leader of the family.
Yeah.
So everybody kind of defers to grandfather, but when grandma speaks up, everyone shuts up as well. Do you know what I mean? And he does listen to her as well.
Yeah.
So they have their own working
Relationship.
equality there, which I find, it's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
And so we may call it patriarchal because he's still the head of the family, but they have an equality there. He doesn't like talk down to her. He doesn't think he's better than her because he's working, and I've looked at them and I've thought, wow, you guys are pretty cool, I've never seen them fight, but I'm a grandchild. My parents would have seen them fight, but grandma, oh my goodness, grandma used to work. So they were very wealthy growing up, yeah. So they had farms. They had they had vegetable farms and then they had animals as well. My grandma would deliver the animals. Like she would reach in and pull them out. Like grandma was tough.
Yeah.
Right? And my uncles were afraid of my grandfather, but all of us grandkids were afraid of grandma. Because grandma would come up, you wouldn't know, and you'd be sitting at grandma's house and you'd be playing and screaming or just being too loud or being
APB. Okay, anyway. Yeah.
being too loud or being an idiot. Grandma, you'd just be sitting there and then you just feel this big whack on the top of your head and you'd be like, ow, and that would be grandma. And then after that, whenever you go to her house, you're like real quiet and you're kind of like looking around like, where is she? Yeah. And she's kind of stayed that way up until now. And granddad passed away a little while ago. Like
That was broken her in half though, yeah?
she definitely misses him.
Yeah.
He passed last year, so we're all taking turns to go see her and hang out with her and just to appreciate her a bit more. But she's adorable. Like she'll come and she'll play all our kids' games and everything with us. But we digress. But they have this beautiful relationship that in execution is different, completely different. But she doesn't talk down to him, he doesn't talk down to her. They don't see,
But it's kind of different.
I haven't seen it. Maybe it does happen, but I haven't seen it.
No, if you haven't seen it happen, I don't think it happened. I'll put it this way, because I think that the difference is probably because they sleep together. They share the same bed. And I think it's very different, right? Like, I put it this way, we come from a very patriarchal society. I mean, brown people, myself per se, yeah?
Yeah.
Where the man is like God. In that respect, like he comes back home, he's got to be served, problem, because his food's got to be there, his shower's got to be ready, everything's got to be done. Only thing he comes back home to do is, sleep.
Well, in that sense, isn't that the agreement that was made between the husband and the wife that this is my job and this is your job?
That I wouldn't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but it's the attitude of servitude or inequality, that attitude, but if you accept, if we have that unspoken agreement, this is your job, and when you come home, that's my job. That's when my job starts. You know what I mean? Okay, and then if we're equal on that, that's fine. But but that's the thing. I'm not your servant. We have different duties. Do you know what I mean?
No, I think it's kind of different. My grandfather was proper, like
God of the house.
Like his paper's gonna be out in the morning, coffee's gonna be served exactly at 6:30. Shower's gonna be ready. So I know he was very proper about what but he was that kind of a man. Like everything's got to be, very well rounded. Yeah.
Yes.
So
yes.
from the time
everything has its place, everything has its time. Actually, that's not a bad thing as well.
I'm not saying it is, but I don't know. But he doesn't shout at my grandmother per se or blah 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 because she already knows what to do. Like she's been doing this for like So nothing really happened.
He got all his shouting done in the first 6
in
months.
the first
eh?
2 months, yeah. And then, but he gets it done like, it's only when someone visits him, he goes like, yes, tea for two, please.
Oh,
It's very cute, he does that. And when I come over, I go like, tea for two, please. Yeah. Then, but that's what he does. But before that, I'm sure he was a maniac when the first training phase was happening. No, but I believe that. I think that's what happened. I don't think he is like, I think he kind of, because he had like 4 kids. And my mom's my father's father's a bit different. He was proper because he lost his wife and he was so depressed.
Oh.
That's what I think happened.
Yeah, it does happen.
And he
It
broke
does
him. He
happen.
broke him so many places. But so he went on this and he never stopped until he passed on. But my mom's grandfather was a guy who was like, yeah, Lee Kuan Yew, yeah, I know him. We went to PSA together. Yeah, he's like that, you know. He says stuff all the time. But he doesn't drink and stuff. He used to smoke, but he stopped. But yeah, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do all that rubbish. But yeah, good man, very good man. And like, but I never saw that per se between them.
Yeah.
My father's a lot more modern compared to my mom. My mom's very traditional. She came from a traditional family.
Yeah.
Mine just like anything goes, man. Like, if you want to work, go to work. If you want to cook food, cook. You know, we hire a maid. Like, he's like, whatever goes, right?
Yeah.
And then, but there was still that respect that they had for each other.
Yep.
I think it still exists to that now, because now he's not doing too well physically, but I think you can see it as they're older. You know, because my mom will go off at him if she wants to. There's no, you know.
There's no, you can't talk to me that way kind of.
She will go off faster
yeah,
than he
yeah.
will, so because it will take him a bit of time to like conjure the words up to say, better not piss my wife off. Yeah, because I know him, he does that all the time. But I shouldn't.
No, for me, it's interesting. So I had a long-term relationship when I was in Australia. I was with someone for about 7 and a bit years. We bought a house. You know, we had 2 dogs. You know, white fence, everything. You know, like big backyard, all that stuff. But one thing I didn't realize that I carried with me is that I worked full time. But I took it upon myself to handle everything at home as well. That it was my duty. And it was subconscious and it was conscious. Okay, it started when the subconscious part was, you know, I would go to work, come home, and I'd take care. I'd do everything. I'd cook, I'd clean, I'd do all the laundry, I'd do all the housework, and it. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it, but I just did it, you know. But after a while, it got tiring. I didn't realize, but you know, it's coming from being raised in an environment where your mum, your auntie took care of everything at home.
Oh, Jen,
and I couldn't remove that from the fact that I was working full time.
Yeah.
Do you know? And I didn't think about getting a helper. Well, we were in Australia, right?
Correct.
You don't
It's
get
not
a
normal,
helper.
yeah.
No, you can get a housekeeper come in and clean the house once a week. But it didn't even occur to me. It didn't even occur to me. Like I do laundry once a week, and then you hang everything out and all that. But you know, I'd come home from work every day and make dinner every day, and do the dishes every day. And it's like, you know, now I look back and I go, that came from being raised by all these women who did everything at home. And I didn't. There was like a disconnect for me. Like, you know, I didn't go, oh, but I'm working, so you should, you know, contribute. I did nag a little bit, you know, because I'd have to like pick clothes off the floor and I'd be like, come on, man, you know. But I had nagged for 7 years and you know.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But does that translate into a workplace though, Jen?
That's completely different, right?
I don't know, because I think it does though.
The attitude of a caregiver.
Yeah.
You're right.
I'm just asking.
You're right. Well, when there's young people around, I just want to sayang them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think maybe that does play a part. What is it like in roles? We have more women in HR, more women in nursing, teaching. What else? The more nurturing kind of
roles,
but then that does bring us to the other thing, because I said this, you know, when we were outside before, was like fundamentally, and I said fundamentally, we tend to be generally more nurturing and stuff because we're the birthers, we're the ones that freaking feed the baby, yeah. So, but that said, it's general. There are men who are extremely nurturing and who are just as involved, but we're only seeing that more in modernity.
Correct.
Right? So it hasn't always been that way. And I find like let's link what you said before about more women in the workplace, and we are becoming more active and that sort of stuff. So that means there are women who are some women are earning more than their partners now. And we are starting to see that shift with some men who are happy to stay at home.
I mean,
and they're like, yeah, man, heck yes, I'll stay at home.
I also can very honestly say this in front of camera as well, that my missus makes more money than I do. But I think it's just more of the fact that I think we're both very comfortable where we are when it comes to that thingy. Because, it's true. Like, men get very upset about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because it's that ego thingy that, no, it's true though.
No, not with my friends. My friends are like, hell yeah, my missus makes more money than me. Let her go make the bread. I'll stay home and play games and watch the baby.
I still show up here and manage you people, but I still have a job to do over here. But the thing is, no, I'm sure she does. But I never really talk about her money or my money. But the thing is that I'm very comfortable with her
earning more.
Or being just in a better place. Financial or even hierarchical position in the business or a company. I'm very comfortable with that. I think it's just some men have a lot of insecurity about having per se.
Right.
Yeah, because I know because my partner she's from Korea and she told me this before. Like, her father told her not to go and do a PhD only because she will not be able to get married off. Because
she's too educated.
Yeah, and men don't like a woman that's smarter than them. And so I was like, then she was like, no, my boyfriend's not from Korea, so I don't think he really cares. And I was like, yeah, I don't really care. To be honest, I don't. But there are men like that, right? Who
I encounter it. Yeah, we do. Most women will encounter it, and it's a similar sort of thing, like women managers with male staff.
We literally had a similar experience, didn't we, over here? Mm-hmm. When we went for an interview with someone.
Yes. And it's interesting to feel that. Like I have managed, but it's the stuff that I've managed, they're mostly women, because I've worked in a charity and the entire office was women. The boss was men, but my entire department was women. And the only other time I've managed men is when it's like photographers. I've managed a team of photographers, and they're contractors. So it's not like they're directly reporting to me. So there was a different sort of work relationship there. They were, all of them, I would hire them on a week-to-week basis on what needs to be done. So that was different, that wasn't like you're like part of my staff. So, and what we're doing here is different, and then I think it would be interesting, but it does depend on the fella, isn't it? It really does. And the other thing I find that hasn't changed is that you have to be tactful. You have to be a little bit, I don't know.
No, in what sense? Like who has to be tactful? Like
in an Asian environment, and then, but I mean that goes without saying that you have to be respectful of everyone. But there is an element of, actually it's not just Asian. It's the same in Australia. It's the same everywhere.
Exactly. It's a global thing.
Women have to. It's like if we are too assertive, we're bitches. Yeah. One of my friends, she's a manager with a fairly large company, and if she just speaks normally, she had an incident with one of her male colleagues, and she's just speaking normally, and she's just gone, the way she speaks to a woman and the way she speaks to this man is the same, and then she said something, and then he goes, why so fierce? And it's like, what? So when I speak to you, I have to be like, hey, can you? I have to be a lady.
No, because they're men.
That's
exactly.
that sort of thing, and it's not limited to Asian society.
No, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
It's everywhere,
Yeah.
Jen. I'm not saying, but it's the thing that there are men who are very insecure about. I don't know, insecure is the right word, but I think it stems from insecurity. But I don't know how it progresses
But
after.
it is the
Patriarchal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this guy that we met together, like who I think you're 100% right that would not be able to take instructions from a leader that's a lady.
Yeah.
And I think you're right.
But to be fair, maybe my youth has something to do with it as well, because he is.
I don't think so, because we're both the same age, and I think he's pretty.
Yeah.
Because when I walk into the office and when you walked into the room, I think it was two different things.
Yeah, you're right.
So I think it wasn't so much about the age thing,
Yeah,
I think it was more the.
Which
Absolutely.
is unfortunate, and that's what
It's
we're
not
trying to
unfortunate.
shift.
Yeah, it's not unfortunate. I think it's kind of sad. It's
yeah.
absolutely very sad. But maybe he grew up in an environment where the man is God, like what I was telling you about, like my grandfather, maybe, for example, right?
Yeah.
Maybe and maybe his upbringing was this. Because I see that. So in that kind of dynamics, if I leave you guys in a room, it wouldn't go down too well. That's what I felt.
Yeah. Well,
so
thank you for
say-
for backing me with that.
No, I say get him out, because I don't think it's going to work, right?
Yeah.
But this persists and this prevails in a lot more than just what we encountered, right? And that's go ahead.
No, go on. And
No.
that's
what I think that eradication of that is systematic. It just grew all the way down from the 50s or 40s all the way down to where we are today.
yeah.
We can talk about the suffrage and all that, but I think it's way past that. I think we're talking about, where the men are the guys that are going to go out and make the coin while the woman takes care of the house. That mentality, I don't think will ever leave a society that quickly. But I think a lot of changes are being done, but I think, like I said, my stance will always be the same, and like we are not doing it quick enough, fast enough, and we're not doing it. It's just men that has to change more than anything else, my opinion.
Well, that's yeah. Thank you for being part of that conversation. It's funny because I just had that thought when you were saying that, and we were talking about industry.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could do a follow-up episode, right, where we speak to someone like a man who works in a female-dominated industry, and speak to him about the possible discrimination that he faces.
Yeah, possible.
Do you know what I mean? Because that would actually be.
But I don't think.
But there's not a systemic issue.
Yeah, but I don't think that's what a man who's working in a female-dominated industry would actually face. Because women are not naturally power grabbers.
Not as naturally dominant.
Yeah, as a man will be. I'm going to go. But he'll probably be the antagonist more than the woman will be. If he's that one guy with 20 girls working around him, I think he'll be the guy who's going to be like, you guys listen to me, more than 20 will be like, I think. I may be wrong, I may be wrong.
Yeah.
But that's what I think that situation will look like. Right? Unless it can't be that passive. Right? If it's that passive, then fair play. I mean, but it's just that, if you have the mutual respect for the person you're working for, then that's fine. But there are certain things like, I'm tough on you. I'm tough on Anita, I'm tough on Davey, I'm tough on everyone that works here.
Yeah.
But I'm not, doesn't mean I don't respect you guys to an extent.
You're supposed to be.
No, I'm not supposed
That's
to.
your job. It is though.
No, but like I say, in our office we have more women than we have men. But the thing is, I think it brings a good enough of balance of how we should do it and why we should do it. I think that balance is perfect for this company. And I always will promote that idea because I grew up with more sisters than I did a brother. So let's put it this. So I'm more attuned to that or understanding.
And you're sensitive to their struggles.
I am, absolutely.
Yeah.
So like Anita, who's in there, or my younger sister, like I grew up with more women in my life than I did with men. So I think I don't particularly feel that it's something that I find threatening to me, like a gender thing. I think it's the thought ideas that pisses me off most of the time.
Like you said, it was insecurity. So then, you don't see it as a threat because you're not as insecure.
No, I'm not when it comes to women. No,
so
but I think it's more or less the thoughts is what makes me upset. If you're not, the discourse that we have in our workways, that's what gets me upset. Not so much about the fact that you're a woman or a man, gay, lesbian, whatever, dog, cat, that wouldn't upset me. Dog wouldn't upset me that much, but people do. That's just me in general.
Well, I did have another thought when you were speaking about men being at home and like being the caregiver with women that make more money. See, there's another thing as well, economics, yeah?
Yeah.
The cost of living or the cost of comfort has gone up, yeah? And if you, back in the day, you could live on one salary, you could support the entire family, yeah? We're talking, and we're not talking that far back, yeah? We're talking about our parents, So as a comparison, I don't know, I'm not 100% with the house prices here, but in Australia, I kind of know, yeah? So we bought a house for 400K, right? It's a massive house, but there's a lot of land. But the same house would have been bought by our parents, by Australians, for $80,000.
Yeah, I mean,
$80,000 for the same house, and it was, and the inflation is insane, yeah? So, and back then, the father could go to work, pay for this $80,000 house, support 3 kids, and still have some left over for fun, and still pay off the mortgage at.
No, because cost of living was a lot different back in the days, right? It's not so much. I don't know if the cost of living is a huge factor of you being a dick to a woman.
No, not that. Sorry, I should have brought my point in. It's that there's more women working now.
Because they have to.
Yes.
Okay.
So
that's
not. Yes. Okay, sorry, I didn't bring that. But no, you don't.
I was expected to buy a beer. Let me go beat a woman and come back home.
I didn't bring it back to that.
Yeah. But I think fundamentally, I think it's also, that's a huge part that you got a man and woman working today. They both have to work to sustain a certain lifestyle that they want to keep. No, 100. Yeah. I agree with you 100. But the other part of it is so Jen, is the fact that wouldn't change saying being say stay-at-home wife. Is that empowerment to a woman? I don't know.
It can be.
Because back then it wasn't really a choice for most women to say, you know what, I'm going to go work.
Yes, it wasn't the choice. That's
because he would say
important.
That. So a man would say, you know what, I make enough money for this family. You just stay at home, take care of the family and the kids or whatever. That's the key word right there, choice. Yeah. That you even get to choose. Yeah. And I think it's deferred today though, right? Like once you have to, it's no longer a choice, right?
Yeah, but see, here's the thing. Do we have to? Because you can still survive, but you wouldn't have luxuries, right? So that's why I was talking about there's cost of living and then there's cost of comfort. Yeah, and what your
lifestyle.
If you're talking about bare minimum, right? Then it's still doable. Yeah. But then you probably wouldn't have much savings because of the cost of living.
You're barely making it.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So you're on a sort of like a subsistence kind of life.
Yeah.
You'll probably you will end up paying your mortgage off in 30 years, but then would you have much for savings for retirement, that sort of stuff? And that's why
CPF lah,
I know, but then with the woman now you got 2 CPF, right?
Assuming she was working.
Yeah. So that was my point with the economics and.
The economics on that thing is not so much because of that. I think we went because Singapore progressed so quickly, right, from backwater to first world, so quickly that not many of us managed to catch up. All right, because we are not so much at some point we were manufacturing base. You can make it workers to go and get daily wages. You can somehow sustain a family. To a point now, you got to make sure you have 2 degrees or 4 degrees to make sure you have a job that pays you $3,000 or $5,000 a month, whatever it is today, right? It's changed a lot. So now you can't sustain. Because back then HDB was $10,000 to buy, Yeah, when it first launched in 60s, 70s, 80s, yeah, $10,000, $15,000 you can get a HDB.
Okay, so that's
And then now-
the era, like that. My comparison was the
Yeah,
80,000
and
for the
now
house.
you can buy the same HDB is going to cost you say $500,000, example. Huh? But then also that's inflation and all that kind of stuff that goes in between. So of course it's not sustained for one guy unless he's making X amount of money. Then then we'll sustain it. But then you got to choose between that though. So husband and wife in today's context, yes, they do go to work, but it's not so much more. I think that will directly affect childbirth rates, not so much about women equality for any given rights. So I say choices are different now.
Well, it does make sense that we have children a bit later because we're trying to save up for it.
No, we're not saying up for having children. They're saying up to buy a place.
Yeah, but
I don't even think it's about having children.
I would be
I know a lot
saving
of friends
to
who are
have
single.
kids.
I mean, sorry, who are married but without kids.
Well, you know, when I was in my long-term relationship, you know, so working a full-time job, taking care of the house, I was also studying part-time and trying to start a home business because to me, when I stop working, I still want to contribute to our income. I
Correct.
didn't want all the pressure to be on him. You know, I didn't want him to have that pressure of me not working for like 9 months, staying at home. So then I was like, okay, well, let's start planning for it, yeah? So if I start a little home business, then at least, you know, there's a few $100s a week or whatever, it helps. And that's the, I don't know about other people, but to me, I thought about the money. I thought about having to raise a
Jen,
child.
at the end of the day, it's in Australia, it's $200,000 to get yourself a 4-bedroom house or whatever. And I think the worst case scenario, you can go to Woolworths and push trolleys and still make $15 an hour.
Yes, and that's
That's
the
not gonna
minimum wage. No, and we don't
that's
have
not
it
gonna
here.
happen here.
No.
You know, so that's what I feel. It's that disparity will happen, right? You know, say you're gonna go out, okay, I'm done. I'm gonna work at NTUC or and you're gonna make $6.50 an hour for 4 hours. If they give you 4 hours, you're lucky. If not, you know, that disparity doesn't work. So I don't know about that. The cost of living. And imagine you having kids as well. Insane, man. So.
Yeah, but that's why I was trying to bring some income while I wasn't full time at work because I was in corporate. You know, I was managing states. I was managing Western Australia, South Australia for a large firm. I was making good money. I was, you know, some weeks I made more money than him. You know, based on my commissions. But I didn't always make more money than him. So I think in a way, for me, right, that there was an attitude of, oh, I'm not making as much money as you. I'm not contributing as much. So I did push myself. That's why it was like, okay, well, I'll push myself to do more housework or I'll do more things at home because he was making this much. He was making like this much more money.
That's it, Jen. That's my question though. But why do you think that?
I don't know.
That you had to go and like. Do what,
I don't know.
But you think that same theory applies the other way?
No.
That's my point though. That's what I'm trying to get. Like, do you think he thinks like, okay, she's making money, let me go and fix the house up, let me go and, you know, do the laundry, let me go and.
No.
No, it didn't it?
No.
This is my point, man. Like, it's not the same. The equivalency is not the same though, and this is why I feel like, well, I don't know. I think we still got a long way to go, man. I really do believe a long way to go.
Well, you know, but coming back to how like strong Singaporean girls are, like, you know, I really like.
I will have to. That's a different conversation with that. I don't know how strong Singapore girls are, but I know how strong some women are.
Yeah.
I won't say Singapore per se, or Malaysia, or China, or France, or whatever.
But I do.
I know some women are very, very.
I do like the whole, you know, like the boyfriend, like. Sometimes the boyfriend will carry the bag for the girl.
Well, I know,
I'm sorry, but I think it's so cute, it's so sweet, it's so sayang, you know, like.
No wonder you're still single. You're still single, that's why I know.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, that's why you want someone to carry your handbags.
No, I don't. I'm just saying it's a sweet thing, and they're secure enough that they don't have to be, you know, toxically masculine. They don't have to be. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Jen. I don't know.
It's like to them, it's like, oh, it's okay. And I like that. They don't have to, pretend to be like, I'm a man, I'm not going to hold your bag for you. Like, I don't know.
I mean, I can hold it for like a minute, but not like carry it for you.
Yeah, that's what happens.
If you're going to look for something, yeah, I'll hold it for you. But
no, but I
don't know. Like, that one I'm completely against, Jen. I'm sorry to say that.
Don't make me
Davey,
carry a
are you
handbag.
for it or against it? If your boyfriend carries a handbag.
Not the whole way. See?
She's 18, that's why.
Oh.
Yeah, but no, man. I don't know. That's not a me thing. But the other part is that I always think that, well, if you like it, you like it. You find a guy. I'm sure you'll find a guy who can do that for you. But
I'm not looking for a guy to carry my handbag, okay?
But I'm just saying. But
I can carry my own freaking handbag, okay? I'm an independent woman.
Yeah, you carry your bag everywhere you go. Anyway, the thing is, no, I don't think that's the cause of the debate. I think like just to get this to wrap it up from what we talked about, what we spoke about, it's just that I think we've got a very long way to go, man. Still, my personal opinion, I think we have a long way to go.
We do have a ways to go, but it's with the new generations, the millennials. Like I don't know if we're technically millennials or Gen X.
Gen X.
But the shift is already happening with the
I hope it is.
It is. It very, very much is. We are having this conversation as adults, right? There's kids having this conversation now, and
are you guys having the conversation, Dewi? Yeah, you told me you did, right? The conversation we're having today. You told me about it, right? Yeah.
Our new generation of beautiful,
But
independent women.
Yes, cool.
It's cool.
Good.
And how far do you get with that? What do you guys? What was the whole bottom line behind the conversation?
The bottom line is that, yeah, we're good on the pay.
We're good,
Look into why happening.
but it's got to be mutual respect, mutual.
No, we can't hear here. So we got to look into why the pay gap happens. So your school is teaching you to deconstruct it and look at the root of the issue. Yeah.
Say it again. Say it.
Say what?
What did you just say earlier?
Oh no, I just looked at how, like,
The pay gap.
the pay gap between men and women and what we can do to improve it. And we just had a discussion.
Yeah.
See, and it's not just filtering into casual conversation. It's becoming part of curriculum, and that's wonderful.
It's part of the curriculum. Oh, I
See, how good is that?
Yeah. Okay.
Well done us. Well done us. Well done humanity. Good. Okay.
All right.
There's hope. There's
Yeah,
hope.
there's hope.
The young ones are So as long as we keep having these conversations as adults and pushing the supply and demand, right? So we keep pushing it, and then like it starts to
Supply
filter
and demand in
through.
what sense? Like
Supply and demand, like
we're supplying ideas, and then there's a demand market for.
yeah. Ideas. Like, well, you know
No,
what I mean?
like,
Like
yeah.
it's pushing. It's like we're helping to shift it.
Okay.
So yeah, and Anyway, but yes, there is hope.
There is.
Thank you, humanity.
Dewi,
Was
Hold
it
the torch.
a new hope? A new hope.
hold the torch. No, but this is a great conversation. I think there's a lot more I think we could do. But I think, I was speaking to Dewi, I think, yeah, you're right. The next generation will take it a bit further than where we are today.
It would be interesting. You know what? We should do a 10-year reunion episode. So in
That's
10
where
years,
we are.
in 10 years, we'll have this conversation again. We'll get Dewi in, and Dewi might have little ones, maybe not.
Yeah,
and then
she
we can
will,
have the conversation again
exactly,
and see
yeah.
what happens. Yeah. So stay tuned.
And you're probably working for us still anyway, so you didn't have a choice. You're like, yeah.
So stay tuned, like, subscribe. We'll be here in 10 years. So we'll do a alumni, like a recap
reunion, yeah.
episode. But yes, thank you, Kesh. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Yep.